Hey, what's up guys, Tomcat here, and today I am reviewing the Bowler EXR-S, I believe it's called, in Forza Horizon. Now, a lot of you guys requested this in the comment section of my last Forza Horizon review video, and I'm glad you guys told me to do it because this thing is awesome. We're just doing a top speed run right now, just completely stock, and the thing launches like a GTR. That's the first thing I noticed, is that it launches and gets itself off the line very similar to the way a GTR does, and that's very impressive for the fact that this is really a highly modified Range Rover, if you think about it. I mean, we're already up to 169 miles an hour, which is extremely impressive, like I said, for what it is, a highly modified Range Rover. 169 miles per hour was our top speed coming this direction. And also, the first thing I noticed when I turned this corner here is that even though it's all-wheel drive, it is very rear-wheel bias, which I really like. And since it's an off-road vehicle, you kind of have to have that all-wheel drive. But since it's also rear-wheel bias, that means that you can drive it like a rear-wheel drive, but the all-wheel drive system is there for either whenever you need it or whenever you want to go off-road, and it makes it a very versatile car. Now, well, not exactly car, but off-road. I'd say off-road super SUV. That's probably what I would classify this thing as, because it's not a race. It's not a race vehicle. You know, it's not able to compete. Well, I don't know. There might be a version that can compete in some certain type of racing, but I don't know if this version can or not. And I also don't know if it's street legal or not in real life. Now, if it is street legal, then that's awesome. That would be incredible if this thing was street legal. If it's not, then I can understand why, but also I can't really see any reasons why it wouldn't be street legal. Now, we're into the drifting section of our tests now, and immediately I noticed that this thing, it actually wanted to drift. I wasn't sure how it would do, being all-wheel drive and stock, but it actually wants to do it. The tail end wants to slide, the car wants to slide, and I would have brought back that 90-degree almost perfectly if that Volvo wasn't there, but whatever. Move on with the drifting. Anyway, another thing that I remember from when I drifted this is it's very balanced. It doesn't roll anywhere near as much as you thought it would. It's not body roll drifting. When you're drifting this, you know, it doesn't feel like you're body roll drifting in, you know, an Escalade or something. You actually feel like you can legitimately drift it, which is very, very, very impressive that Bowler was able to get to tune the suspension to the point where it didn't feel like a super top-heavy SUV, because it doesn't. It feels like a sports car. It really does. It feels low to the ground, and that's really hard to describe because it's so high. But it's very hard to describe because, especially when you're in the interior view, you're looking out of this very high vehicle. Like, you can tell it's a high vehicle, but you feel like you're low to the ground. You feel like you're in a sports car, and that's definitely a huge accomplishment. Now, what we're doing here is maxing it out and adding some rally upgrades so we can test it out on the rally courses, because that's one of the things that I really wanted to do with this thing, just to see how it would respond to being driven on a rally course. Now, keep in mind that this test was performed with every single upgrade maxed out, so maybe it won't be as good as, say, a focused, targeted setup. I mean, we end up being in R3, so maybe if I targeted it for maybe S-Class, then it would have been a little bit more balanced. But even though we did fully upgrade it, it's not bad at all. Again, accelerating like a beast. That it had to have hit 60 in under 3 seconds. It had to have. I mean, you guys can time it, but it's fast. It's very, very, very quick. And I apologize for all of the rewinds in this rally run. I haven't done any rally racing in Horizon in a really long time, so this was my first time back on the back on a rally stage in a while, and it felt different. And also the bowler definitely feels different on dirt, but it feels like it's it feels like it can handle it. You know, it does. You don't have that crazy body roll. You really don't have the side-to-side wobbling motion that you would expect from something this large and this tall. But it feels like when you're driving it on pavement, it feels like a sports car, and when you're driving it on dirt, it feels like a rally car, even though it's so huge. And that's the thing I can't stress enough about this thing, is how big it is and how much mass it's carrying around. But it still feels light. It still feels agile. It still feels very fast. It changes direction beautifully, and the way the all-wheel drive system is balanced, it's perfect for the dirt because it allows you to drift and slide the back end around, but it also, since there's a little bit of power in the front as well, it helps provide that extra bit of torque to pull you out of the corners after you've drifted them. Now, again, there are a couple of rewinds right here in this spot. This turn was extremely tricky. It's almost banked outward, which is weird. This corner was invented to make rally drivers crash, pretty much. That was my impression of this corner, and I ended up having to just slow down a lot more than usual, in fact, to take it. But still very cool. Still very good handling, and I mean that back there, it was driver error. It was completely driver error on my part. It was not the car's fault. It didn't, even though it appeared to have a lot of understeer. Again, that was driver error on my part just because I didn't slow down enough. And in fact, understeer is an interesting topic for this because it doesn't have any. The thing doesn't have any understeer. It either turns completely flat or slides the back end around a little bit. It's a very, very, very well balanced setup and an extremely fun car to drive. One of the most fun cars to drive in the game, I think, because it sounds great. Like I said before, I said, you know, it's light, it's agile, it's nimble, and it feels a lot smaller than it actually is. And I have no idea what that weird sound glitch was. It wasn't anything to do with my capture card. Because I heard it when I was actually playing the game and I was listening to the sound from my TV. So if you guys enjoyed that video, don't forget to click that like button. Tell me in the comments section below what you thought of it. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and stick around, because at the end of this video, there's a little series of clips to show what this thing is best at. So I will see you guys later.